Welcome to this little knitting podcast called Knitting at the Seaside Farm and me, Brit Strikkenerd. A warm welcome to this little knitting podcast in my little knitting corner of the world called Norway. And here I live on a little island called Frøya, and my name is Brit. And in the social media you often can find me as Brit Strikkenerd, and if I translate it in English I think it will be Brit Knitting Nerd. And I have chosen to call this knitting podcast in English the Knitting at the Seaside Farm because I live on the farm and the farm lay next to the seaside. It's only a few meters to walk to the sea, and that is a lovely place to live, I will say. But yes, I have a Norwegian podcast that is called Brit Strikkenerd also. But sometimes I will share all my knitting and my knitting love and love for yarn, or is all that about knitting that I will share with everyone in the whole world, not only the Norwich speaking. Then I go out in this challenge and try to speak English to you. And also, because when I'm starting this knitting podcast, I have got a lot of friends in the whole world, and that makes me so happy and grateful. So I will try to go wider and make this English podcast. And I am babbling and struggling a little with my English, and you know that I have to go on and I have to practice to be better. So let's try. But they will most of the all will it be talking about knittings project, you know. And this time I have a little hurry to talk about my last knitting project, because some of the knitting projects shall be with me on a traveling I shall do very soon. And then I have to show you all the fantastic knitting project that I have been finished with. So let's start. First, what I am wearing. And some of you that have visited me before, and especially this year, has seen the start of this sweater. This is the Trollfjord sweater of the designer TCknits, or in the Norwegian Tone Cecilie. I have an interview with her in February that also is in English, so you can go back in my podcast episode and take a look. And then we are talking about all the design of Tone Cecilie or TCknits. And the lucky is that she also writes in English, so you can knit all the design of her and there will be no problem with the language. But this one was released, it's perhaps called, in January, when we met on this little knitting festival in Fortuna, Løkken, here in Trøndelag. And she has just designed it to pass with to match with yarn from Fjord Fibers, Gilly in Fjord Fibers. She color beautiful yarn, high dyed, in this Trollfjord socks yarn, and it's then we TCknits called this jumper for Trollfjord sweater because of the yarn she used in this pattern, that is Trollfjord socks from Fjord Fibers. And I have also used the Trollfjord yarn in this beautiful pattern here. You see this flower, and the single one that that have one color that is the Villull, that is the red one, yes. And I have matched these two, and I love it. And I was start on this project when I met Tone Cecilie in February or January it was, and I only knit this start, and I think, oh, that is wonderful and lovely, and then it was like, yeah, I don't I have not the moves to knit on it, but it was not because I not think it was lovely. But it's never happened. many months before I take it from back again. Oh, now I'm babbling and struggling. Oh, sorry. But I have to try. and I take it from the stash from or a whip or a UFO. I don't know what to call it. But in September, I take it from my stash again. And then it take 14 days. And I was finished. Can you believe it? First, it take month to get that I shall start and go wider on this project. And suddenly you start and it goes 14 days. Yes, so it is in the knitting world sometimes. But I love this sweater, and I love to knit it when I first start. And now I have it on me all day, every day, yes. And I get so much lovely comments from others that also is fond of this color matching, yes. And I will also say that Fjord Fibers, she sent internationally, and I can link under this episode where you can find her website. So perhaps some of you can get a little bit of this beautiful yarn that Gilly in Fjord Fibers is hand-dyed. And in the episode where I interviewed Tone Cecilie, I also interviewed Gilly. So in the same episode, you will get to be known in both of these fantastic creative women that is make design of this jumper sweater and design this beautiful hand-dyed yarn, yes. So that is the first project I have to make happiness singing about. I can say make a happy heart, a happy jumping heart. I am follow his head. Follow from one from Netherlands. This Sarah from Netherlands. It is a Sarah, I think her podcast is calling, and she also always talk about this happy heart jumping when she get this feeling of something very nice or something very beautiful that make her very happy. And this jumper make me very happy. And in my Ravlery group, that is also called Knitting at the Seaside Farm, I have tried to make a knit along with Tone Cecilie, all of her design. but it's not so very active, but it's the all year. So if you will start now with something of Tone Cecilie, perhaps you can win some prizes in the start of the next year 2025 if you take a little check on this little knitting group on Ravlery that is called Knitting at the Seaside Farm. So be pleased to join it if you want. Yeah. With this coffee. Oh, then we are starting. So I hope it go better for everything I will talk about. So, because I shall talk about a lot of things, but in the summer I was not in this knitting mood. And because of my sailing boat holiday in the north of Norway, that was a beautiful summer weather. It was so warm. It was like we were in the Spanish land, or not in the north of Norway. So I was not able to knit on this thick yarn or something that take much place. So instead, I get in mood for knit dishcloths, and it's a reason to that because in Norway we have this little lappestafett, or we can call it square relay, perhaps. All of us Norwegian podcaster that has got this invitation to participating this square relay and design of one little square each. And I think it's over 30 podcasters that has joined it for so long. And I was that person that should design in July. Yes, I should design this square in July. And you can perhaps use this square as in this square blanket, or you can only make one dishcloth if you want. My plan is to make a square blanket of all this little square, but when Julie come and I should make this little design, I was so inspired, and suddenly I have designed 4 square, and I think, oh, perhaps we can have a little summer knit along with this square I make, or so can call it a dishcloth knit along for the summer. And that I have in my little face group that I have in Norwegian called Brit Strikkenerd's lille kreative hjørne. It's a long name. I don't know where I can translate it. But it was for the Norwegian knitting friend of me. And for that I should only design one, I have designed 4. Yes. And the one I decided for this square relay, that was a little here. Here. Yes. And I call it a Sweden psalm that is called Den blomstertid nå kommer. Perhaps I can play the little melody here in the background that you see. Here it is. Den blomstertid nå kommer. That was in this square relay that everyone did. So it's chosen to be in this relay has knit this one. And so I suddenly have decided 3 more. And the first one is this one that I called a scouring klute. Skurekluten. And I have this little cable, easy cable here as this length here. Go all the way. So there you can get a little hard washing with this cable, I think. Therefore I call it the scouring cloth. Yes, I think it's almost the same word in Norway and in English. We call it skureklud, and in the English, scouring cloth, I think. So that was the number 2. And the number 3 was inspired by the boat I was on, and therefore I called it My Boat Is So Little. That is a little children song that we use in the church, and in the Norwegian it's called Min båt så liten. And when I knit it, it looked like this, but when I turn it up down, I think this little pattern here look like little boat that you see all the way down here. So then I call it My Boat Is So Little. Yes. And the third one look like this. And that I called Tangskogen. If I shall translate it, it will be, I have to see in my notes, the seaweed forest. Yes, I hope it is the right word. And here you see this seaweed down here or here. That is in the seaside of the land, you know. Yes. And all these patterns, except this one, this blomstertid nå kommer, is a free pattern that is on my Ravlery side and my Ravlery pattern side. And I think you can read it because I have make it as a chart that you can find out where to knit, how to knit it. If you will knit some dishcloths from to a Christmas gift, for example, yes. And all of the podcast designs is in a group from a Norwegian podcaster called Gunn Irene Englestik, and in her pattern shop you find this lappestafetten. You find all the pattern in this link lappestafetten. I can link it under here, and all of this pattern is free if you love to knit a little square or love to make it of dishcloths. So that I recommend it. So along the summer, I knit a lot of dishcloths and a lot of square. I not have with me this other square today, but perhaps I shall talk about this in another episode. So the summer went with this little square knitting. but yes, I just should knit something else. Yes, I should knit something for my son Sigurd. My son Sigurd is this year long away from home. He is living in the north of Norway, called Svalbard. It's almost on the North Pole. It's 78 grades in the north. It's long away. And there he is going on this folk high school that is a big presence in the Nordic countries. The school is a little different from other school. The pedagogic focus is not at exam or grades. It's on the students' motivation, and the students can choose and can learn more about something they are very interested in. My Sigurd, he is take more study of we call, I think it's the English word, research and technology. Yes. And much of it is have this focus of environment, I think, yes, and climate. Yes, because in Svalbard you can see a big difference from many years now, that it has been much warmer in the world, and the ice is melting very fast. And for example, the polar bear have much more difficult to find places to go and be, and he has seen a polar bear already, and that is not very usually. And because of they not find the food, or they begin to go near their people live, and that is not a very good thing. But it's very exciting, of course, to see a polar bear. That is not very often you have to kind of see something like that. Yes, so he sent us a picture when he has been so near this ice bear, or polar bear it's called, yes. But in this place, it's not very warm. It's I have been a warmer place in the last year. It's still get very many minus grades, and he had to have these warm clothes. So of course the mother have to knit a lot of warm clothes for him. He has some jumpers before, and in this spring I get some I think I talked a little about that in the last episode, that we had got this bigger type of our sheep's yarn. I have this farm, and in this farm we have a lot of sheep called Villull. It's an old Norwegian race, and it's a very special wool you get from this sheep. And I have collect all the wool and send it on this mill called Selbu mill, and get the yarn back. That is a good thing. And before I have a yarn like 200 meter per 100 gram. Now I get a little thicker one that has 100 meter per 100 gram. Yes, it's a little thicker, double that thick. And with this thickness, I can knit something very thick, jumpers. And I think many of you is familiar with this book of Linka Neumann called what is I think it's called the Wild Mercs jumpers. I think it's also in English. I shall try to find it and link it down under this episode. But here is the Norwegian book, and Linka Neumann, Knitter, and here is the jumper, and I have knit this jumper for my son in this Villull yarn. I call my yarn Villull, and this thicker one I call very Norwegian word hardhausa. Is very strong yarn. Hardhausa, and strong and warm. And here you see this Alesuk Polar it called. And I have used a lot of my own yarn, and this brown one and this blue is from Alefossi. For you know, you can knit this Linka Neumann jumper sweater in Alefossi from Istex. Yes, so that I have done. So now is this jumper finished, because next week, it's only a few days, I and my husband Ola shall visiting our son Sigurd in Svalbard, and I had never been in Svalbard. Ola has been in Svalbard before, but I have never been, and it's so exciting, and I looking so forward to go to this trip to Svalbard. It's a very exciting thing to do for us Norwegian also. Oh, and then I happily get finished with this jumper that I not been finished before he left us in August. But now he get it, and it's not been so cold yet, but I see next week it's suddenly go around 10 minus this grades I see. So it's been colder and colder, and the sun is going more and more away, and in November the sun is not in Svalbard longer, and it's dark the whole day. Not black but very dark, yes. And that is also very exciting, how it's managed to live in this darkness so long, yes. But I think it will go well. It's a lot of things to do on this school. It's not only that he learned a lot of things that he is very motivation to learn more about, but you learn a lot of social learning, because you have to live along with other students in this house. They're everyone living at the school, and you have to share a room with someone other, so you are never alone. So that is a good learning, yes. So I think Sigurd will get so much healer than the whole people, yes. Whole human, human, yes, after this year, yes. He will come to learn so much about his study, and he will learn a lot about people, I think. And it's people from the whole world in this Folkehøgskole, that it's called. If you Google, you will find some more about Svalbard Folkehøgskole. But this jumper we have to be finished with before we shall travel on to Svalbard next week. But that is not the only project that I have to bring with me. It's also important that he has warm mittens when we are in Svalbard. And I have knit also from Ola, since we shall go there, both of us. He has not a very warm mittens that was whole, so he had to get himself a new pair of mittens from me. And here you are, the mittens that is from Skandir, called Speedy Selby mittens. I love to knit these mittens. It goes so fast, and this time I use this Harhelsa Villull, and I have decided to go a little up in my knitting needle, because when I have knitted before, I feel it only match my hands, and be a little too little for Ola. So I have to go up in this needle. So I knit with 4.5 in this cable here, no, cable, in this rib it's called, and in this pattern I knit in needle 7. Then it goes a little big, but I could felt it in my washing machine, and that I have done, and now it's perfect. And this time I also use matching very little, you see, this color, but I think it was been very nice, yes. So yes, it's can be difficult to see it when you are very near, but when I hold it here for you, I think you can see this star here in this pattern also. I have to knit some to Sigurd also, so he get a little yarn left from this Suk folar you just have seen in the same of Mittens. This I think it's been a little Harry Potter mittens in this color, I think. I not have felt it this yet because I just finished today in this morning, Sunday's morning. I knitting for the hard time, but it go very fast. I knit one in this morning. Yes, so fast it go. And I have also a little knit along with Skeindir, you know, in my knitting group on Ravlery called Knitting at the Seaside Farm. And you can join it, and perhaps you will knit some speedy Selby mittens that go very fast. Then you will reach and join this knitting group that also go the whole year, and we have some drawing of some prizes in January 2025. I hope you will join it. It's a lot of thing to knit with Skeindir. And I have one more project of Skeindir that is to my Ola before he shall go to this Svalbard trip, so we shall try that take next week. He had to have a new hat, and Skeindir has this hat that she called Eventyrhatt, fairy tale hat, but she called it Eventyrhatt. You will find it some like Eventyrhatt on the Ravlery side page of her. And that I also have used yarn left from this Suk Polar. So here you have this little Eventyrhatt, and all of this yarn is this Hardhausa Villull. So it shall be very warm and good to have with us when we go traveling to Svalbard next week. I can take it on me. It's a good hat to wear, and I think it's nice. And this is also a very quick, fast knitting if you will join a Skeindir knit along that I have. Hello in the future in this YouTube. I suddenly remember that I have promised a little gift, a little prize if you comment under the last YouTube episode of mine. And that was a pattern of Skeindir. And the winner, I have drawn a winner, and the winner is you, Isabel Silvia, 688. And you have to take contact with me on the Ravlery, and you have to choose a pattern of Skeindir that I will send you in your Ravlery library. Yes. So gratulere, that we say in Norwegian. Congratulations, I think. Yes, it's in the English. So I hope you will get contact with me. That is a very hurry. Have to show you before I take this trip holiday to Svalbard. I don't know what the right word is, but I think it's go well. Let's take a little coffee. Yes. Then will I go over to something else that I have knit this last month. I have had a very high knitting mood this month. I have knit a lot of things from summer that I not have knit nothing at else, I will say. I now knit a lot of things finish, and this is also a hard jumping, yes, to be finished with a lot of things and to cast on a lot of things, and yes, you know, that make a knitter very happy. But this little jumper is from a Norwegian designer called Christina Gjertsen. And Christina Gjertsen also have an English-speaking Facebook site that called Sisuknit. She is known in the whole world as Sisuknit, and she also have this Instagram konto called Sisuknit. And I think many of you perhaps already known of this designer of Norway. But she make a lovely design inspired of the Samisk tradition. Yes. And here is the new book of her that is called Barnestrikk fra nord, eller Children Knitting from the North. The book is only in Norwegian, but a lot of the pattern is in English that you will find in this. She has a home page, a knitting store, I think I will call it, that is called Sisuknit. There you will find a lot of this pattern in English, yes. And this month she has a knit along in her own little face group called the Berry Knit Along, that we should knit all of this design that she has little bear on, and this called Blueberry Knitters, and is a little children age of 2, I think, yes. But I don't have any little children yet. I waiting a lot to be a grandmother. I have 6 kids that could be, now have little kids, but I not get someone yet. So I am waiting and waiting to be this grandmother. But in this season, in this month, in September, we have now we call the gold ribbon in Norwegian. That is a fundraiser for cancer research of children that one of the Norwegian podcaster is driving. And I have knit this to be in this knit along. She also have a knit along that when we take this knitting project in this knit along, we give some money to this fundraiser cancer, and then get a lot of money for the children cancer. That I think is a good thing to do. So this is my part of to be in this relation to this gold ribbon, we can call it, yes. And to get some more money, I have just have an auction, yes, in my own Facebook site that that someone that want this little jumper can give some money for buy it, and I give all the money for this fundraising cancer research, yes. And I get 500 kroner. I don't know what about 40 pound, perhaps $40, I think, yes. So we'll go into this children's cancer foundation, yes, fundraiser, yes. I tried the best, you know, but I love the jumper, and the little jumper is also knitting in my Villull, the ordinary Villull yarn, that is the gray one here, and I also have some treasure from one hand dyer in Norway called Hettestrikk that last year hand dyed 4 color in Villull, blue one and golden one, I will say, and this purple one and a green one. But there is nothing left, only a few hanks of this yarn that I bring to myself. But I love it, and it get well in this little jumper, you see. So if you will be known to Christina Gjertsen, Sisuknit, I warm recommend it to visiting her page. And it's a many lovely design, and as I told you, it is a lot of that is inspired from this Samisk tradition. She lives in the north of Norway, from Alta. That is the top of the Norway, not Svalbard. That is all longer up, the North Pole, you know. Perhaps I shall show you some of this lovely pattern. And you see here, it is from the Samisk tradition, you know. And here in this book you have the children age, but she also have book that come first, that is all of the adult age. So yes, we go a little whiler because I did talk about this gold ribbon action. I also get inspired to knit something else. In this knit along, you can choose to knit children age garments, and you can also knit everything else if it is something yellow in it. So I decided to knit something with yellow in it, and I was inspired when I see at another Norwegian podcast that also have this English episode, and she is called herself My Nord Knit Caller, and I think a lot of you know her before, and she has just have this knit along with a Norwegian designer called I have to. It's her falling down. That is called Mammlaget. I think she has another word also. Perhaps I shall write it down here so you can see it. She write pattern in English or in Norwegian. And she had this knit along with Mammlaget design, and I suddenly think, oh, I will be joining this little knit along. So I jump into her design page in Ravlery and found this little neck. Oh, that is called Andromeda neck, or Andromeda hals. I shall write it down here. That I have knit in Villull. Oh, will be a good thing to take with me when I shall go to Svalbard, I think. And I love the color, you know. I am very fond of the sunrise and sunset. Yes, if you have been visiting me before, you have perhaps seen a lot of picture from this farm when the sun is going down, the sunrise, yes, the sunset, I mean, yes, because especially in the winter, we get lovely sunset here at the farm, and here can be like this. And because this was also a very fast knitting, I think when I have a lot of yarn left, I think, oh, I go for another one in Mammlaget that is called Chandra neck or Chandra hals. And I have not shown you my loppa. I shall talk about that in my next episode. You know, this loppa of pinneguri, I am very fond to knit loppa of pinneguri. I can show you someone I have knit before here. And I know it's starting on my 5th loppa, you know. And the last loppa was inspired by the sunset here in Ravlerygroup, and that I have choose this color you see here, and this color is the yarn I have left from this loppa in sunset color, and that will match my loppa. Yes, perhaps you have seen it in the social media if you are following me in Instagram, but the next episode I think I have to talk a little more about this beautiful loppa design of pinneguri, eller the needle lady, she is called in English. Her loppa is also writing in English if you want to knit it when I talk about it next time. But this was also very fun to knit. I love this structure pattern here, yes. And I love the matching of the color. You know, I am a little happy for this rainbow color. And this little sweet little jumper I get last year from a Christmas calendar. I switched swap it's called, yes, from Anne in the USA. Yes. Oh, that was very, very nice and sweet. I get her some yarn to knit some else, but I think the yarn will go into my scrap blanket that I have in much color. Little square, not the big square that I talk about before here in this episode. That is another scrap blanket that I have. Perhaps I shall talk about that also in the next episode. This color can also remind very much of this Samisk tradition. The Samisk flag I shall take here. You see that have much of this color in the flag. And just now I am in focus a little bit in Samisk mittens tradition. I am a member of an organization in Norway called Norsk Strikkeforbund, Norwegian Knitting Organization, yes. And in this month, from this month and from the December, we have this knit along with Samisk mittens. And I have started with a little one. This is a little children mittens. That one that is member in my Norwegian Knitting Forbund organization has made called. Her name is Marit Henriksen, and she has make this little design, and I think it's so sweet. Yes, and I also get inspired to buy something else from this Samisk tradition. In Sweden, they have a store called Storstorka. And the color of these mittens get right to my heart. Look at this. Oh, have you seen so nice? And I don't know that this was exist. Yes. I had never heard about it before. In Norway, you more have this tradition with yes, perhaps she has some mittens here. I don't think. I have to look in this book to see. Yes, you see some of the color here in this jumper here from Christina, and as I told you, that's the color often in the is much like this. And I don't know they have this tradition in Sweden also, but I should know, because Samisk is in all Nordic countries. They have the Samisk tradition in Norway, in Sweden, in Finland also. And this one is called Marknadsvotter, I think. And I get this book, it's a history book of this Samisk mittens tradition in Sweden. And I get this picture that I can knit these mittens, and I think it's so lovely. And it's say Brit with all the heart. And look at this color. Oh, I'm looking forward to start this. And I also buy more diffuse, more quiet color for Ola, but this have this pattern that is from the district of this tradition that I also shall knit here in the black and gray. But this one is Brit. So I am most in this little Samisk mittens tradition, and it's very, very interesting to go in this history and in this color and this technique. They have a little technique they call, I don't know what to call it in English, but in Norwegian we call it slyngestrikk. And that is what you see in this start here, and it's much similar with this lattice cable, but you don't switch the thread forward your work. You only do it one way all the time. I don't know if it was good explained, but you get this thread front of your work, and that you get this slyngestrikk. Yes, perhaps I try to show you if I get some good picture of it. Yes, so that it is in the focus now, and this loppa. But now I have done this little episode just because I had to tell you about this big jumper here that shall go to Sigurd, and that we shall travel to Svalbard about a few days, and then it's not here anymore. So it's a little hurry to do this little episode in English. Yes. And till we see you next time, I hope you have a good knitting time, and I hope to see you again. And I hope that I shall make a new episode in October. Then I talk about a little more about the Samisk mittens tradition, and perhaps a lot of this loppa, I would think. Yes. Goodbye.